before we do start this video, I do want to speak about our sponsor for today, which will be the OneFootball app. If you guys want to read further on this game regarding Barcelona and Espanyol and just look at the post-match interviews and what players had to say about this game, that can be found within the OneFootball app. You can also follow different teams like Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Manchester City, Liverpool, or you can follow certain players, whether it's Messi, Lewandowski, Neymar, Kylian Mbappe. The OneFootball app does have that covered for you and will notify you immediately and live regarding the latest news on your phone, and it is for free. If you want to download the OneFootball app, you can so by scanning the QR code that you do see here on the screen. But if you don't have a camera, you can also just click on the link down below. It's clickable. It'll take you straight to the app store. You download the OneFootball app, set exactly who and what you do want to follow, and then it'll be set and done from there. It's a very easy process. Again, it's very easy. It's also a very informative and entertaining app, and I hope you guys do enjoy it. But now let's talk about this video and let's talk about Barcelona versus Espanyol, because Barcelona have tied against Espanyol 1-1. Because Barcelona have tied against Espanyol, now Barcelona is tied with Real Madrid in points within the league table. Now I know that we are going to be talking about like 3 to 4 key points about this match, but I want to talk about something first and just give my overall review of this game before I go very specific on certain players, because this is going to be very, very important. I think that the lineup was good, right? The player selection that Xavi Hernandez had against Espanyol was really, really good, but the energy and the eagerness to succeed in this game was simply just not there, meaning that it was not where it should have been for a game like this. Like, yes, we showed some energy, yes, we showed some type of eagerness, but it was not at that level that Barcelona needed to be in. And because of that slight drop in eagerness and energy and focus, Barcelona were harmed. Now let me be very self-accountable, and I want Barcelona to also be very self-accountable, because I know that Xavi Hernandez does have an intention like this, is to be very self-aware and self-accountable and to self-critique. And I'm gonna do this before I even talk about the other outside forces that basically harmed FC Barcelona. But let's be self-accountable first. Barcelona should have bagged this game by the first half. By the 60th minute, it should have been 4-1. It should have been 5-1. But because the energy and the drive, again, was just not there, later in the game, Barcelona were harmed. And Barcelona needs to be a team where if we see opportunities in the first 45 to 60 minutes of the game, we have to score at the very least 3 to 4 goals. We cannot go into the second half with like 90 chances and only scored like 1 goal or 2 goals. Now you could say, but Kevin, no, you're wrong. Like, stop being so critical on these players. They just came from a World Cup and they're tired. Like, bro, let me tell you something. If you look at the lineup that we had, that Xavi has assembled, Jordi Alba was back in Barcelona like 3 weeks ago. Marcos Alonso did not even go to the World Cup. Christensen left after the group stages. He came home early. Sergio Roberto was also not even called up. Gavi, Frenkie, Pedri all returned back to Barcelona 3 weeks ago. Rafinha came in like a week later. Lewandowski came in like 4 weeks ago because he was out of the group stages. Ansu Fati did not even play at the World Cup, so we can't give that excuse, and nobody can give that excuse about Barcelona players are tired, they just came back from the World Cup, they're fatigued. It's excuses. They're excuses. These players have trained with one another. They understand what they needed to do, and they have been doing this for the past 3 weeks. They've been training together for the past 3 weeks. It's not like they all just met each other a week ago when the World Cup was over. And let's just say, right, even though this is not going to make any sense, but let's just say all of these players returned on the same day because they all ended up being on the World Cup final, just for the sake of the conversation. So let's say they all came back 1 week ago and they only had 1 week of training. It's still no excuse, because the composure that these players had has nothing to do with like fatigue. If you have the opportunity in front of you and you can score that goal, compose yourself better, focus on that opportunity. And if someone says Barcelona had no opportunities, Espanyol defended very well, where you're talking about, Kevin, come on, I'm about to unsubscribe, you're talking all this nonsense. Let's look at the graph here. Look at how much green there is, which is where Barcelona is. The green basically shows you how much attacking opportunities a team had. Barcelona is green, and you look at how much green there is compared to Espanyol and their attacking activity. They barely had any. And Barcelona, you look at the first half and how much green there is. It should have been a 3 to 4-0 win before the second half even started. But because Barcelona did not take advantage of that, because they generated all of these opportunities just to not score, the corruption of La Liga kicked in and came in full force in the second half. And I'm talking about the refs. Like, I don't like talking about conspiracy theories, and I don't like talking like this because I don't want to be that person that talks a lot of bad stuff stuff or talk about conspiracy theories behind like a laptop or something. I'm not that type of person. I like to talk about formations, tactics, systems, just football in general, which is the reason why I made this channel. But when you are a Barcelona channel, when you are a Barcelona fan, you cannot just talk about formations and tactics and systems, because corruptions like this and bad decisions from the refs always do have to kick in, which is why we have to talk about this, unfortunately, right? Which is now going to lead us towards the 3 key points, and I'm going to be starting with point number 1, which will be Mateo Lahoz, which is the perfect transition, because look, in his eyes, he had a masterclass. Like, he was enjoying himself in this game. Like, when it comes to this type of ref, like Lahoz, right? I'm going to call him Lahoz. Every time he does ref a game, it is always the exact same story at the end. In the last 20 minutes, it always ends with a game where there's a lot of yellows, it's dirty, there's a lot of tensions between players and the refs and players from the bench and coaches that are out there. There's just tension everywhere because of one man, because of Mateo Lahoz. Like, this ref simply just does not know how to manage a game. Like, he always looks for a way where everybody can be frustrated and mad, and where everybody can get yellow cards and red cards, because that is what we did see in the last 20 minutes of this match. Like, this is the type of ref that is looking for the frustration. Like, when he sees things going on the field, he's like, okay, I see that player tackling that one player. What can I do to uplift this and make it even more intense, make it even more frustrating for these players? Oh, I know. Let me make a very horrible call so things can just get worse. Like, I feel like that is what the ref, Mateo Lahoz, wants to do, like, in every game. And he's always looking for the center of the attention. Like, there is never ever a normal game when it comes to this ref here, when he's reffing and managing this game. And so let's talk about some stats, right? Mateo Lahoz has given a total of 32 yellow cards, okay? 32 yellow cards in the last 2 games. The last 2 games, which is a lot. 14 of those yellow cards were shown in this game today between Barcelona and Espanyol, which is a new record for his entire career in the Spanish first division, which is crazy. 17 of those other yellow cards came between Argentina versus the Netherlands. Notice how this match between Argentina and the Netherlands was very similar to how this game played out today between Barcelona and Espanyol. So 17 came from Argentina versus the Netherlands, where Argentina did win, and then 14 of those also came from Barcelona versus Espanyol. So that is a lot of yellow cards. So going back to this Barcelona versus Espanyol game, most of these calls that Mateo Lahoz didn't make were so against FC Barcelona, and let me explain exactly what those calls were about, because I don't want to just speak just for the sake of speaking. There was a moment where Gavi had his neck grab inside his own box. Like, literally one of the players of Espanyol was grabbing Gavi by the neck, and guess who ended up with the yellow card? It was Gavi. And so of course, when you see something like this and these players from Barcelona are looking at calls like that, they're like, okay, look, Mateo Lahoz is clearly going up against us. Like, what's going on here? And that is where the frustration does begin. We move on towards the other call. There was a penalty that was given to Espanyol because Marcos Alonso did step on one of the players, but it was never intentional. His face was facing the sky. He was not even looking at the player's foot. So Marcos Alonso did not even intend to step on this player, but the ref said, no, this player touched this player, and Marcos Alonso committed a foul. Let's give that penalty to Espanyol. Moving on towards the next call, we have no red card shown towards Cabrera, who is one of the center backs of Espanyol. He clearly did step on Lewandowski's head. Like, there's a picture right here showing you that he was stepping on Lewandowski's head after trying to take him down, and Lahoz was looking at VAR and replaying that like about 5 to 6 times, and he said, I don't see anything. There's nothing. Lewandowski did not get fouled. I don't see this player getting another yellow card. He did nothing. Because let me tell you, if that center back, Cabrera, received that yellow card because of what he did to Lewandowski, he would have been shown a red card. But again, Lahoz said, no, there's nothing here. He did not do anything, which we can clearly see that he has stepped on Lewandowski's head. But Lahoz said, not a chance. And this could have been a situation where it could have been 10 versus 9, because Barcelona already at that point had 1 red card. Espanyol also had 1 red card, and so if Cabrera was shown that red card, it would have been a 10v9 game. But again, it wasn't in the agenda of the ref for tonight. And then moving on towards 95th minute, Dembele had a breakaway play. He was running, creating that counter-attacking opportunity. It was a very close opportunity for Barcelona to find that 2-1 win, but one of the players of Espanyol was intentionally trying to tackle Dembele by the feet, not even trying to look for the ball. He just wanted to stop Dembele from creating that counter-attack. It was a clear tackle, a clear foul. Xavi had the right to complain because of how dirty Espanyol was playing, and guess who ended up with the yellow card? It was Xavi Hernandez. But let's step away from this, right? All of these like negative things and what the ref has been doing. Let's talk about football. I want to talk about our players individually because that is basically going to be wrapping up point number 1. So let's move on towards point number 2. Frenkie de Jong. Frenkie de Jong played amazing. He did start as a central defensive midfielder, like in the midfield with Gavi and Pedri, and he played amazing. This is something that we have been wanting to see. And again, of course, he played an amazing game. He had the most tackles in this match with a total of 2. He was the best accurate passer with a total of 97%, a very safe midfielder that you can count on. And you look at the defensive game that he has had. He has won 2 out of the 2 tackles that he did display. He had 2 clearances, 2 headed clearances, 1 interception, 7 recoveries. The ground duels, he has won all of his ground duels. He has won 1 out of the 3 aerial duels that he encountered. As for the attack, he had a total of 69 touches, 1 successful dribble, 5 passes into the final third. 2 out of the 3 were accurate crosses, 2 out of 2 accurate long balls, and 5 corners. And so this is what we do want to see from Frenkie de Jong, is to perform like this, be a very safe player, never lose the ball, always try to generate those chances. And I want to see more of Frenkie starting in that position moving forward, and especially in the second half of this season. And then we move on towards point number 3, and that is going to be Ansu Fati. Ansu Fati did not show any confidence on the pitch tonight. He's just clearly not in his best level. He was not clinical enough. You can see that the intentions were good, like he was trying to battle these players on a 1v1, but he barely wins any of those 1v1s. He always loses the ball. He lost the ball many times. And if Ansu Fati wants to be the best, you have to come out in situations like this. When you see Barcelona struggling to find that goal, looking for those 3 points, seeing that things were going against you, these are the type of moments where our best and young players have to come up and help FC Barcelona. Ansu Fati could have been that player tonight, but he was just another one of those players that could not deliver. So right now it's a waiting game. Right now we have to wait on Ansu Fati returning back to form because we have no idea when he's actually going to be 110%. Because of what Ansu Fati did portray against Espanyol, I just think that he should go down in the pecking order. And I think that the first player that should be starting on the left wing should be Ferran Torres, with the second option being Memphis Depay and the third option being Ansu Fati, because of where Ansu Fati is currently today. And I want him to respond just like how Rafinha responded on the right side when Dembele took his spot. Moving on towards point number 4, and that is going to be Marcos Alonso. Marcos Alonso was the best player of this game in my opinion, alongside with Frenkie de Jong. He did score. He was very close on providing an assist. He made multiple crosses in the box that almost led towards goals, which was crazy, right, for a center back like him. And he almost actually scored another goal, a second goal against Espanyol after Jordi Alba made a great cross into the box. So he's in top form. I remember the type of hate that he was getting about 2 or 3 days ago because of his renewal and all of these discussions taking place. And Marcos Alonso is showing why he deserves to stay here at Barcelona, because he has been a phenomenal center back and a very effective center back. I'm very happy to see just how much he is helping on the attack. And if you look at the heat map here, you can see that he was so effective as a left center back. And I don't know if you guys can see, but you can see that there's like a head on the top right corner of this heat map right here. There's a red head. It kind of looks like a goat. You can see the legs right here at the bottom, and then like a tail all the way at the left side of this red. So I don't know, is Marcos Alonso the goat, the greatest of all time in this game? I'm just joking, but that's basically it, right? That is basically showing us that Marcos Alonso is a great player and he continues to be one of the best center backs in La Liga. So that will be wrapping up today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one.